Welcome to the trip. I mean, welcome. You made the trip to Eugene Cannabis TV. You got DanK, your host here, and a friend of ours come up that visiting is with us today. We got our friend Sean. So welcome to the show.
It's been a while since I've been here. Long while.
Yeah. You bet. Sean helped us in, I think it was 2010 Hemp Fest, our last event at the Washington Jefferson Park. And he came back to Oregon this year, came up here earlier to come to the Hemp Fest and had a travel problem, so he wasn't able to make it for the event this year. So
yeah, I'm sad.
He'll be here next year, though.
Yeah, and I apologize not being here this year.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean,
yeah. Just unfortunate circumstances.
Exactly. So I got an interesting story that I wanted to jump right into, that these kind of stories are a little heartwarming to us, people believing in patients' rights. This is from through the Associated Press. It was on Tucson.com. Court. Yuma Sheriff must return to cardholders medical marijuana. The Supreme Court has refused to overturn Arizona court rulings ordering the Yuma County Sheriff to return marijuana that was seized from a woman with a California medical marijuana authorization.
And notice how it's from another state going into Arizona, so they accepted a card from another state, which is good.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, considering we're fighting for that right as well.
That's right, because Arizona has the law too. I'm not sure exactly what their law is. It's like Oregon's, whether it's like Oregon, or they don't recognize any other state, but apparently they must, because anyway, it says the justice's order was issued without comment Monday in the case of Valerie Oken, who had marijuana in her car when a Border Patrol agent stopped her and her husband in Yuma, Arizona in 2011. She was charged with marijuana possession crimes, but the charges were dropped when she provided proof she was authorized to possess marijuana under California's medical marijuana program.
Which means that they couldn't bust her for doing interstate, cross-state lines because they accepted the California medical marijuana.
Arizona's medical marijuana law allows people with authorizations from other states to have marijuana in Arizona. Okay, there you go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what other states that have legalizers looking into legalization of marijuana should do as Arizona does, because people do travel through, and it's like we don't need to go, when we go into another state, we don't need to go automatically and go get a driver's license, you know, for that state or whatever. And
yeah.
So it's something to look at.
The Yuma County Sheriff refused to return Oken's marijuana even after Arizona courts ruled in her favor. So it'll be interesting to see what they do now. You know, this has happened before, sheriff departments, or police departments rather, refusing to return confiscated marijuana. A lot of times it's medical plants that they've let die, and then that's been some controversy over that, is whether they should have to pay damages for a lost plant.
Yeah, while they're waiting in court and stuff, and the plant dries while it's in the evidence room, and it loses its THC and CBO values and everything. Yeah. They just don't understand how much they're destroying the plant when they confiscate it for a wrong reason.
Exactly, and then don't take care of it. And
let
it, it's really tragic, and it happens all over, but at least there's some relief, and things are changing. Times are changing, as they say.
Now you got a lot to go through, and our time's running fly.
Oh no, we're doing good.
All right, cool.
Now this is the latest thing that came in on Measure 91, which is the New Approach Oregon, the legalization initiative that will be on the ballot in November to vote on. So this comes from VoteYesOn91.com. Check out the website. It says, meet your Lane County and Metro Regional Organizers, Casey Houlihan and Dominic Lopez. So Dominic Lopez is the Metro Regional Organizer with Yes on 91. He works with advocates for the sensible drug policies to educate voters from Measure 91. He hails from Tigard, Oregon, is an alumni of Southridge High School. He studied political science at University of Oregon, but spent his summers interning back in Oregon for Basic Rights Oregon, helping prime the state for the marriage equality movement and successful campaign to win the freedom to marry. Dominic has spent his career working in volunteer coordination. The day after he graduated from college, he was pounding the pavement, knocking on doors. In his spare time, he plays card and board games with his friends and enjoys auto mechanics. He particularly likes taking things apart to see how they work and making new things from what he has learned. He has a 16-year-old cat named Comet. Well, he's got a cat owner. Yeah. Can't be all bad, huh?
Got 9 lives, I guess.
Yeah. He has a 16-year-old cat named Comet, named after the reindeer, and he hopes to adopt a greyhound in the coming year.
Is that a bus or a dog?
Must be a. I don't know. It's not capitalized. I think if it was capitalized, it'd be a bus, I guess. I always find myself drawn to the energy and passion of the people I work with, he said. We have lots of fun and do amazing things. Volunteers are vital to campaigns because they bring a real and genuine voice to the movement. And with enough of us, we can move mountains. For this campaign, our amazing volunteers are doing a number of things. Having fun conversations with voters, helping out in the office, and reaching out to supporters. So that's just one of our coordinators, and I wanted to mention 91. Be sure and remind everybody that it is coming up. It will be on the election November 4th, and we've got 1 month and 12 days to register to vote. On the 13th day, you're not going to be able to register to vote, so you've got to get it done prior to that. As Anthony Johnson says, while we're in great shape to win, it's not a done deal. So that's really important to think about. Now it's a time to make sure your voter registration is up to date. Make sure everyone in your circle is current. This is the time to get those naysayers to step up. The only way we're going to see legalization is through the voting process, the initiative process.
And sponsor.
The legislature can't, or they won't, get it done. Take your choice. It ain't going to happen through the legislature.
This is true.
So the anti-Measure 91 crowd is coming around, sort of.
Is it this
spreading
other
misinformation?
Who's this person?
We're going to cover that in a minute. That's the other coordinator.
All right.
And the anti-legalization people are coming around, and you'll start to hear from them. Law enforcement, of course, is one of them. And then the black marketeers. A lot of them are the medical marijuana people that are dabbling on the black market, and they're spreading the information that isn't true about the initiative. But
when I text people, I text them, go get the DVD Totally Baked, and you will learn some American history and get a laugh at the same time.
Get what?
You'll learn some American history if you get the DVD Totally Baked.
Oh, Totally Baked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and you'll learn some history and get a laugh at the same time, you know.
And speaking of Totally Baked, about 4 or 5 years ago, I bought a used laptop from a guy in Grants Pass.
Right.
He just happened to be coming to Eugene, so he delivered it. When I got the laptop and then started going through it, it just happened that the whole movie Half Baked was on the hard drive.
Not Totally Baked, but Half Baked. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, Half Baked. So anyway,
either way, cool. It was baked.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been able to enjoy that movie several times. So anyway, and now that was Dominic Lopez. He's the Metro Regional Organizer. So in Eugene, we have Casey Houlihan, who is the regional organizer for Lane County. So he's probably more the one that we'll be working with closely.
Yeah.
He has been working on this measure in one way or another since 2009, but actually since 2014.
Couple of months.
Yeah. Casey was instrumental in getting the signatures needed to qualify Measure 91 for the ballot. He also worked in the Oregon legislature for the SEIU State Council, for Emerald Empire Consulting, for a congressional race in New York in 2011, for a state senate race in Virginia, and for some anti-fracking ballot measures in Colorado. Casey made it to 10 national parks this summer, and one time he took a canoe into the open ocean south of Florida Bay for 5 days. When he's not spending every waking moment trying to fix Oregon's marijuana laws, he enjoys hiking, cycling, and backpacking in the Willamette National Forest. I like volunteer organizing because you can see people take an active role in crafting policy for their state by advocating for themselves and their communities. This campaign has been unique so far because so many people who we have talked to have or know somebody that has been harmed by prohibition. And there's so much support in the general public to change the status quo and replace it with a smarter approach to regulating marijuana. So that's
sounds like a couple good job resumes.
You bet. A couple of good guys that are stepping up to help us, and I don't have the contact information for them right now, but if you need it, you can certainly get a hold of me and I will get it for you. I'll undoubtedly have it next show.
And also, you can see they do have references and they have experience in what they do.
Yeah, you bet. So that's the coordinators for the Measure 91 campaign. And events coming up, the Oregon Cannabis Convention is coming up this coming weekend, September 5th and 6th. Free admission, and that's at the Portland Expo Center, and the website is OregonCannabisConvention.com. And the Emerald Empire Hemp Fest, Willamette Valley Normal, and Eugene Cannabis TV will all be represented at a table at that conference. So we really enjoy. They're going to donating a table for us, and really going to enjoy going up and supporting them in their event. And free admission, which is great, as opposed to the next one that we're going to talk about. The International Cannabis Business Conference is coming up. That's coming up in September 13th to the 14th, but it's not free. This is $499 for admission.
Wow.
Yeah.
International
so
cannabis.
You got to be serious about being one. And
you got to be international.
Yeah, you got to be serious about getting into cannabis business if you're going to. But this will be a good thing for people who want to do that. They have lawyers and accountants and all kinds of different people, and they'll have seminars and classes and a lot of vendors selling different products. So if you're into cannabis business or think you're going to get into it, that would be the place to go and the way to go. So
invest your money.
Yeah. I was offered discounted tickets by the organizer, and I told him that they'd have to be gratis. It's the only way I could afford them. And he came back and said, well, it costs money to put on an event. I said, yeah, I know a little bit about putting on events.
Yeah, it costs money to put on an event.
Yeah, and he said, well, you just put on small events. You know.
In our town, we're big.
I like to say it costs a lot of money to put on a free event, which is the case of the Hemp Fest and any free event. But anyway, so that's if you're into it. That's the Cannabis Business Conference. I guess glad it's there for people that need it. That is internationalcbc.com. And then their hemp stock coming up on the 27th and the 28th of September. That's Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be at the Tom McCall Waterfront Park, which is a change. The last I think at least 3 years, it's been at Kelly Park, Kelly Park. So scratch that, whole new location where they're going to be at the Tom McCall Waterfront Park, which is essentially downtown Portland. It's right on the Columbia River, and so it's a really nice location. A little bit smaller than what they've had before, so they're going to have to cut back on their amount of sponsors somewhat. But anyway, that's at hempstock.org, hempstock.org, and that's September 27th and 28th. So I'll be speaking up there. I won't have a booth, but we'll be speaking. So we're going to come back with some more information and visit with Sean. So we'll be right back.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all the calories and serious health problems. Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths, and it's not linked to violence or reckless behavior. Marijuana. Less harmful than alcohol, and time to treat it that way. For more information, visit marijuanaissafer.org.
Welcome back to the second half of the Eugene Cannabis TV. Second half of the episode, we've got our friend Sean here, and you got DanK as your host. And Eugene,
the original DanK.
The original DanK.
Because I remember 4 years ago, man, I never saw that ever, anywhere.
Right, that's right. Yeah, the original DanK. The August 28th issue of the Eugene Weekly, under the Biz Beat, he had an interesting article here that I wasn't aware of, and I guess it's okay because I probably couldn't have made it anyway. But it's always interesting when they have cannabis events and I haven't heard about it. And I'm thinking, man, I'm really must be out of the loop. I thought I was in the loop.
Well, look at what newspaper it's in.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes you don't pick it up all the time.
But this is really great. Medical marijuana dispensaries in Oregon are rallying to support the measure on the November ballot that would legalize, regulate, and tax marijuana use by adults in the state. Lane County dispensaries are sending representatives north to a kickoff event for the group Dispensaries for Measure 91 at 5:30 p.m. Thursday. I said this was August 28th, so it's happened last week, but I'm just letting everybody know about it. At Opal 28, 510 Northeast 28th in Portland. And it says, see voteyeson91.com. That's the second time we mentioned that website. That's voteyeson91.com. To get involved. Why are dispensaries supporting competition from legalized pot? We figure it's because established medical pot operations are ready and eager to expand into non-medical pot. Plus, Measure 91 specifically supports the continuation of the Oregon medical marijuana program. OMMP patients will continue to pay their annual fees but will not pay the taxes that will be imposed on non-OMMP patients. Meanwhile, some 300 marijuana growers gathered in Portland August 22nd to talk about lobbying the legislature for regulations and protections for their farming. Growers were concerned about ambiguous laws that make them vulnerable to being shut down and having their equipment and medicine confiscated. So that's a great write-up. Like I said, I didn't know this event was even happening. I'd like to go on to it, but it is exciting that dispensaries are actually organizing in support of Measure 91.
That's the first time I've ever seen something like that, even kind of in California. I mean, it's nice to see stuff like that.
We had 3 dispensary sponsors this year for the Hemp Fest.
So you told me before I
which really surprised me. And the greener side, of course, our friends at the greener side are always supportive of all of our efforts that we're doing. And
and to come up with that Arizona, California thing. Mm-hmm. Where did you get my medicine today?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. I'm going to talk about them. But the greener side, that's at 1553 Oak. And those are friends of ours, like I said, that help us out, and check them out. Stop by and say DanK said hi. We've got, they also donated our pickup to us, which was a life, that's the pickup came from them, you know. And
blessings to them.
And yes, and they paid for 4 ads on our Eugene Weekly right before the Hemp Fest. That was a big shot. Anyway, our friends, that's the one of the dispensaries, and then we had the Oregon Greenery Guild, and also mine went blank. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway. So the thing is, like I said, support has really surprised me from the dispensaries, and majority of them, I haven't talked to all of them by any means, but the majority of them I have talked to have been very willing to put up our flyers for the Hemp Fest, to put out flyers for the initiative. Actually, the greener side, they actually had the initiative out. We're gathering signatures at the store, which was pretty neat, you know. It's kind of it's not really dangerous, but it's kind of a bad thing to do, to try to gather signatures at a commercial business, I've found. But you got to have somebody monitoring it. But that's what they did. They had somebody keep an eye on it, because they have to be signed correctly and make sure the person is a voter before they sign it, and all that. But anyway, appreciate them. So today we saw an ad that a new dispensary is opening up, so we thought Sean was in town, and so I thought, well, let's go check this out. So we went to the Eugene OG. Excuse me, they're at 2045 Franklin. Very nice people, and a grand opening, so you might want to stop in and say hi to them.
And since Oregon doesn't do what Arizona does, I wasn't able to go in and socialize and talk to the people myself, and that's just stereotypical people trying to keep people like me away from their meds.
Yes, unfortunately our law doesn't recognize other states. I couldn't remember if it did or not. I know it used to be that way, and so I guess it still is. But I'm sure there'll be some changes. Of course, once we get the legalization in, that's going to change a whole bunch of parameters.
Yeah, but they'll still figure out ways, since it's not in the same state. You know, you can't use a doctor's recommendation even if you're coming over to visit for friends. Some states do have it.
Some states do have it and recognize each other.
Well, next Monday, have that on here for me.
Also, I wanted to talk about, like I do most shows, or try to remember to anyway, the website growers2patients.net. This is a really neat deal, and
that sounds good.
It's not an app, but it's kind of like an app in that the more people that use it, the better it's going to get, and the more it's going to help.
Try to keep
everybody.
it private from the government, though.
And it's a forum. So what you do is, if you're a grower looking for a patient, or a patient looking for a grower, you go on this forum, you sign up on it. There's no charge for it. And you're completely free to contact each other and go from there. And it works. I found my first patient through this website. So that's www.growers, spelled out, growers, the number 2, patients, plural, that's both under plural, growers2patients.net. So check it out, and it can be of help to you, you and yours, and help everybody, you know. So, so tell us about. Go ahead.
Well, you see, when I'm on Facebook, people don't know me by Sean.
Right.
They know me by Razzlin' Majoret. So all you people out there that know I'm coming up to Oregon to do this with Dan and everything, that are on my Facebook page, it's like Razzlin' Majoret. So when you go to friends and you're in my groups, T4C plus H2O equals THC 420, and bong water 420, and totally baked. So I have all these groups with just friends in them, because I saw an app on one of my pages how the Facebook is going to let the government come in and moderate, and in order to go into these groups, you got to be in the secret group to where the public or the feds or nobody can see it, or else it'd be an invasion of privacy, basically, because it's a secret group. Plus, they shouldn't be doing it because you got lawyers using Facebook, which is client confidentiality, and then you got judges, and so when they start monitoring it, then that's invasion of privacy, harassment. I can go into terrorism, because it's like when people are afraid of people coming into their lives without them knowing it, that's an act of terrorism.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're breaking their own laws.
So tell us about California, dispensaries in California. How is it different?
They close at 8. It's really easier to get a medical marijuana license, a prescription down there, though. You can just walk in, tell them your problem, and then they give you a medical marijuana prescription, or the little recommendation, and then you can go to the dispensary.
How much does it cost to get the card, and how long is it good for?
The card's worth a year. The first time you go, it could range from $50 to $45, and then if you go get it again, it goes down to $25 to $35 to go re-up your identification, your reference.
Okay.
And as for the dispensaries, I don't go to a lot of them. I mainly go to the one that's downtown. And they got a deal for first 2 hours. I think it's like from 8 to 5 or whatever, and from 10 to 3, or from 3 to 5. $15 off of grams, and 35.
You mean 15 off of eighths?
Yeah, 15 off eighths, and 35 off of ounces off the do one get one free. So it's pretty, you know. And other I don't get to go to other places that much because of the
transportation.
The city laws that they make up to where they, under certain things, they got to close down because of Measure P, or this, that, and the other. But lately, some of the dispensaries have got to close down, like at 8 o'clock, and not be open a day or two. So,
I'll be down.
But there are still some that stay open at midnight, like the one I go to downtown.
Interesting. I've always heard that the card was a lot easier to get. So, how are the prices compared to the black market?
Well, I don't deal with the black market. I mean, white, black, it's all a government scam just to keep the money coming in.
Yeah.
So if I'm not able to find a dispensary, since they say that marijuana is a gateway drug, if I have a little bit, I stay complete, you know, I'm comfortable with my gate being closed for the night, you know, and I can open up my gate tomorrow. So it is not a gateway drug compared to your prescription drugs in your cabinet or your alcohol or your tobacco. You know, like I said, get the movie Totally Baked and learn from it. You will. I mean, with the little hyphens that they have in it when they're not talking or whatever, they say how many deaths are from what, and so they do say. I mean, they even say it's a documentary when it comes on. And I think that it's good information for people out there that really don't know, except from old information, that want to watch a movie.
Well, I remember L.A. had dispensaries, and then they made them illegal.
Yeah.
And then they made them legal again, and they actually have control crime statistics to show that when the dispensaries were closed down, the crime went up, and when the dispensaries were reopened, crime went down. Just the opposite of what the cops said would happen.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to be fronted off.
Yeah.
You know.
So I know many years ago I was in California. I went to Venice Beach, my favorite. I love Venice Beach.
Oh man, the crazy sights you see there. Or if you went there certain years, it was all Muscle Beach too. So. You know,
To me, as far as I'm concerned, Venice Beach has Country Fair and Saturday Market all blown the heck. They're like them on steroids in Venice.
Oh man, yeah, Venice is a little too far, so I usually stay in my little town over there in Pomona. So.
But anyway, what was I going to say? I brought that up. They had a table down there. In fact, I think it was association with Jack Herrera, to be the truth. But anyway, there was a guy. They had a table set up with cannabis information, and so I asked him. I said, "How do you get a card in California?" And he said, "Well, you pay us $35, and then we give you a recommendation for a doctor to go see." You know?
Oh man, that must have been way back.
I thought, what? This is moneymaker. Anyway, we got to wrap it up. I got to go, and we'll catch you next show. Thanks for coming. Later.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. I'm sorry I didn't want time got away from me in the end.
That's all right. Oh, we got to do.
Yeah, we had plenty of time. Next thing I know, we're in the red. Oh, thank heaven he pounded on the window. Got my attention.